Before the release of Elden Ring Nightreign, I had never played an official Souls game, barring like an hour or so on my brother's PS5 a couple years ago. It isn't necessarily that I avoided them due to difficulty or whatever. I mean, partially that, but more I've just been busy with other games. I've always had an interest in them, but I've kind of also thought that maybe I didn't have the skill or the patience required to really get through the sheer difficulty that these games boast. Regardless, I already planned on streaming Elden Ring this year, and my Terraria Infernum playthrough is proving to me that I can in fact get good if I need to buckle down and actually do it.
Holy shit! Holy shit! I actually did it!
I really only bought Nightreign because my brother begged me to so we could play it together. My first session was here on stream until my power unceremoniously went out. Even though there are a lot of mechanics to grasp, with most of them assuming that the player is a FromSoft veteran, I had a lot of fun. Killing the first two enemies got me into the feel and immediately boosted my ego to a god level.
Oh shit, I'm cracked.
Like, it wasn't an instant, wow, this is the best game ever feeling, especially with the weirdness of the controls compared to, like, every other third-person game ever. I got into it, but like, why in the hell are there two sprint buttons? One for a sprint that's more like a jog, and then the real sprint on the real sprint button that you're going to use 95% of the time anyway. I know it's because the secondary sprint doesn't use stamina in combat, but that shit regens so fast, who cares? Plus, the slow sprint is the same button as the roll. If I'm tapping B, I want to roll, god damn it. Like, just have one sprint button. This made my camera movement feel really awkward in the tutorial before I completely just abandoned the slow sprint so I could see where I was going. The combat's really good. Obviously. It's hard, punishing even, but very rewarding. Turns out, there's a reason why these games are almost universally praised. The hits feel impactful, with the heavier weapons taking a charge-up slow time to deal devastating damage, and the small, quick weapons dealing like really fast DPS if you're doing it correctly. I can see every potential playstyle not only having viability, but actually being fun to play. It is really, really hard though. I should have expected that the tutorial boss was going to annihilate me, especially since I think that's how Elden Ring starts, if I remember correctly. But I really thought I was gonna get it. I didn't, but I thought I would.
Oh my god, I dodged it. I did not dodge that one. Or that one.
What surprised my not knowing anything about Souls games self was the sheer build variety in the characters. Since every time I see somebody playing one of these games, it's always like, big sword go boom. I didn't even know that there were mage classes and the like. Now, funnily enough, I still haven't actually used any of the mage classes like Revenant or the other one, I can't remember it right now. But the fact that they're an option is really cool. Regardless of the class, I am very bad. With some, I'm less bad, but I've had a good few runs now, and I've only beaten a Night Lord like 2 times. And those were times of great synergy and crazy luck with levels and loot. So far, my favorite classes are Iron Eye, Executor, and Duchess, in that order. I do quite like Wilder and Raider, but I have, up until maybe recently, not been much for the slow and devastating playstyle. I like to spam attack. I know, that will usually spell death, and that is definitely not fair to my teammates that actually want to beat the game, but it's just how I'm wired. You can actually see my frantic, reckless, zero self-preservation instinct playstyle across many games I play on the channel. Due to this, I was initially drawn to Duchess once I unlocked her, as the dual daggers and quick fighting was very cool and seemed like it meshed well with me. And it is, but she's very squishy on health, and the character skill takes way more cunning and calculation than I'm capable of in high-stress situations. So I end up dealing less damage than I should, and I just keep getting fucking one-tapped as Duchess. Which leads me to Executor. The playstyle isn't as fast as Duchess, but the attack speed is still relatively high, blocking and parrying is very cool with him, and dual-wielding katanas is pretty fucking rad, if not terribly inefficient. The thing is, I am pretty terrible at using his parry, and actually a few of the matches that I played as him, I completely forgot about the stance switch so you could parry. I was just running around like it was a hack and slash game. But hey, it worked. My favorite class though, by far, is Iron Eye, which I don't think is weird because I swear Nightreign is designed to make you want to play as him. I was worried that playing as a ranged character would be a slog, but the way enemies are designed and also how shit I am at reading attacks, keeping my distance and turning them into pincushions just worked. Having a run where me, my brother, and our rando were all playing Iron Eye had me feeling like Frank Reynolds finally understanding homosexuality. It just clicked. That was where I finally understood the true appeal of these games. It was still a hard run, but through understanding the class we were all using, applied skill, and good teamwork, we managed to secure what was my first victory against a Night Lord. The triple arrow launch thing as his heavy attack melts the genre's ubiquitous massive bosses, as you can get 3 shots for the price of 1, and the ult is fantastic. By far the most fun I had in the game. Which kind of sucks because while playing this game finally made me really want to play Elden Ring outside of some self-imposed obligation. I've heard that the range classes kind of suck in that game, so fuck me, I guess. With the game being a roguelike, a lot of the points of interest, enemy compositions, loot, and bosses are random. In my opinion, this is generally done pretty well. After a few matches, I started to get the feel of where locations will generally get placed, what to expect at various camps and castles, how to get effective loot, and so on. The game does a surprisingly good job of informing the player about what is going on without being too hand-holdy. That said, the loot and enemy composition feels simultaneously less and also more random than I would hope. I was told that this game has the entire weapon complement of Elden Ring, yet match after match after match, we just kept getting like the same 10 to 15 weapons. I genuinely have the impression there's only maybe 4 total bows in the entire game. In a few matches, we would go an entire run without getting an upgraded or better weapon or a new weapon for our class that we were playing. Apparently you can get certain weapon types from certain camps, but I don't really understand what that means, but that's on me, not the game. I'm just bad. Same with the map. I don't know what it is about it, but my brain does not click with it. I often find myself looking at the map, pinging a spot, and somehow going in the exact wrong direction. Hell, I can have the map open, looking at the arrow that indicates my character, and still go the wrong way. I cannot, for the life of me, comprehend why my brain does not like this map. But despite my own shortcomings with just being bad, Nightreign does have some baffling choices with the game design. For one, there's no goddamn voice chat or in-game chat or any way to communicate with people beyond pinging the map. Like, it doesn't need to be special. Just allow me to communicate with the other players. That's all I ask. This is the main reason why I've pretty much only played with my brother. We can coordinate enough with each other to make up for the lack of communication with the third wheel, which makes the experience infinitely better, but I hear him when he's playing on his own, and the rage that comes out of there when he is unable to communicate with his teammates is palpable and intense. Apparently early on there were some desync issues which I maybe have been fixed by now. I have no idea. I also haven't really experienced any of them myself. I think I had a few matches where a teammate disconnected and we ended up without a third, and for some reason there isn't like a re-batchmake deal that will bring in a new one. Although, okay, now that I think about it, that makes sense with the whole roguelike thing. You'd have to bring up a new person to the same level and supplement them with loot or something like that, and that would be kind of unfair to the experience. That kind of ruins the roguelike experience. Okay, you know, actually that makes sense. But geez, someone disconnecting midway through a run can absolutely just destroy that run completely. It can really suck, especially with the runs lasting up to about 40 minutes or so. Losing a run in a roguelike to poor RNG or poor loot or just bad skill issue, that's fair. That's a part of the genre. But losing because an entire player dropped out and you're suddenly just overwhelmed, that sucks. Also, holy shit, can this game chug sometimes. I have a mid-high-ish range PC and I can run pretty much every modern game at medium settings with little to no issues, even while streaming. But I have now had countless times where a boss attack, enemy spawn, character ult, or something else straight up just freezes the game for a few seconds, usually during a fight. Typically, I'm really lucky when it comes to performance working well for me, so this was kind of a really big disappointment. Fortunately, it was never enough for me to get downed or killed, or it never ended a run or anything. And of course, it wasn't all the time, so it didn't really ruin the experience. And speaking of ruining the experience, today's video is quote-unquote sponsored by my friend James, who graciously sent me the green screen I've been using in this video and will be using in future videos. In exchange for that, I'm plugging his custom guitar controller website, loveitcustoms.com. In the background of my last few videos, you may have seen these controllers sitting up on my shelf back there. This is the Riftstick guitar controller designed for Clone Hero and Yarg. Over the past few years, except for really recently, due to no official controllers being produced, getting a hold of a good guitar controller is historically not easy and often really pricey. These are high quality, fully custom built travel size controllers that come in at less than half the price of the the current brand new official controllers from PDP and Cracked. They're incredibly plug and play. You just take a USB-C, plug it in right there, plug it in your NPC, open Clone Hero, select it, and it's ready to use. For me personally, I'm a real snob when it comes to using a guitar controller. I will forever and always hate the Rock Band style controllers where it's got the squishy frets and the squishy strum bar, but I often find myself choosing to pick up the wrist stick instead of my Guitar Hero 5 controller that I have due to the low latency from it being wired and the high quality mechanical switches on the strum bar and the frets. The current model has a full tilt functionality for star power, and he's constantly working on tweaking and iterating the designs for further improved playability, features such as a whammy bar, which I'm actually going to be seeing very soon, I'm very excited about, and eventually a full-sized guitar length wrist stick design. For more information, just visit the website loveitcustoms.com, link is down below in the description. Let's get back to Nightreign. I would talk about the difficulty in the bosses, but I don't think I'm good enough at this Souls-style gameplay to really critique it from a fair place. I'll say if you've never played a Souls game or something similar, it's gonna be about at the level you would expect considering the FromSoft pedigree of difficulty. Without spending enough time to really learn the boss patterns, I can't really say how fair the difficulty is, but I will say one thing: fuck Libra. This fucking boss fight is ass. An AoE attack centered on himself with a wider range than your average roll dodge? Fuck that shit. It reminds me of that big hammer enemy in Jedi Survivor, the one that had an unblockable slam attack that has an AoE that also just happens to be large enough to hit you even after a dodge. This fight alone feels like I'm being punished for daring to play a melee class. And it's not like this is because the boss is hard. They're all difficult. They all absolutely destroy me over and over and over again. But Libra is the only one I genuinely hate so far. Also, a fair few bosses kind of just fly. I don't know how regular this is to the FromSoft catalog, but some of these fights, I just look at them and I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to do damage to them when I can't even hit them? Which leads me back to the feeling like you're almost meant to play as Iron Eye. But again, I'm not good enough yet. I'm a rookie. That said, my brother is a Souls vet and he's been talking about similar issues with the design, so I don't know. I asked somebody who has played more than one Souls game, not me. For me, it's fine, I guess. But as I play more and get better, I find that a lot of the moment-to-moment gameplay is really well tuned and generally really fun. The difficulty works and I feel accomplished for beating a boss. Hell, I feel accomplished just beating some of the larger non-boss enemies. To my surprise, I'm actually a lot better at the game than I expected. Yes, as I said, I'm not good, but I was sure that it would be a slog of die, revive, repeat with zero contribution to the team. I'm glad I was wrong. It's a super fun game, especially with someone you can actually communicate with. Unfortunately, since none of my friends play Souls games, I don't really get the full experience of Nightreign, which is why I'm more excited to finally play Elden Ring after I'm done with my Calamity Infernum playthrough. It's single player and slower paced, meaning I'll be able to take my time understanding the weapons, enemies, and mechanics. At the rate my Infernum playthrough is going, I may actually be getting to it quite soon. So if you enjoyed my rant about something I have no business ranting about and want to see me suffer in Elden Ring in a couple months, or if you want to see me suffer in Terraria now, subscribe and stick around. Regardless, this is all I have for this video. Thank you for watching my complete amateur first-timer experience talk about Nightreign, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time.